Hey guys, how's things? I'm John at Rise and Sun, and I'm the guy who you come to for Japanese performance cars. So let's take a look at what we got. Firstly, I'm not dressed for the occasion, okay? But that's not what you pay us for. You pay us to look at the cars and get on the ground, and that's what I'm about to do. This one we picked up for a customer in the UK. It's done 41,000 kilometers from new. One owner car, and it's perfect condition, graded 4.5 on the sheet. Now, I talked many times about auction sheets and how they don't mean a lot, right? So, our graded cars don't necessarily make them bad, and grade 4 or 4.5 doesn't necessarily make them good. However, this one here is a perfect example of what to expect for a 4.5 graded car. Let's take a look. So firstly, the interior. Of course, when we're in auction, we do all this inspection for the client anyway. It's not always on a live video. I don't have time, I don't have battery, and you know, with a lot of problems that have been created in the auction from live videos, we can't really be doing them too much. So at least now you can get a good insight to this car, and I'm going to walk you through everything on it and why we think it was graded correctly. It's a 4.5, and yeah, I got no words. It's a damn nice car. Seats, great condition. Here is a very important place to check. This material is not actually available anymore. You can't actually get it. So if you do have rips in the seats here, you're looking at about 250,000 yen, 1,500 pounds, 1,700 euros for a new seat. However, good condition. Some things I did point out to the client is the leather is a little bit hard, and it could do with a bit of leather moisturizer and a bit of correction on there. However, happy with it, and yeah, great condition. As we're in the car, steering wheel, great condition, no wear. If you know anything about the Evo 9s, you will know that here on the steering wheel, these edges can lift up, and it sort of goes like a bit of a skateboard ramp. They lift up, and that's from the heat and excessive wear. This one has none. The whole entirety of the wheel, great condition. We're pretty happy. Yeah, the dashboard, great condition. It comes with some Defi gauges and Defi link. It's not detrimental to the car. It's more of a bit of a bonus, especially if there's no holes drilled on the dashboard. The dashboard in this case, it just had them stuck on with sticky pads, which I'll show you, you can take them off quite easy. See it coming off there. So if the client doesn't want them, he can easily take them out. There's no damage to the dashboard whatsoever. Glove compartment, everything, no cracks. That's a weak point on them. They can get a bit wobbly and broke, but that one is great. Air conditioner works, ACD, everything works. There's no problems there whatsoever. So let's start it up. Evo 9s only, you need the clutch to start the engine. Body work on it, 4.5 grade, a real one, and this is what it should look like. One thing I like to do is use my hand, wrap it around on the inside of the fender. Some cars have rolled fenders, and I know a lot of clients don't like it, so that's one thing that we do like to point out. I can get on there, roll my hand around, there's no dirt and stuff inside there, and I can give it a nice pull, and there's no filler. Here, the spoiler has got no clear coat peel on it, and it's not been repainted. You can generally tell when they've put clear coat on them. It doesn't detract from it, in my opinion, because it's a very common fault with them. However, this is OEM, fully original, and yeah, pretty happy with it. inside edges on the trunk lid here, where they can go really rusty. You can pull these trunk stops out. Have a look. Oh. Ah! Shit. So yeah, that's that. Fenders all original. The carpet in the back, better than what you would expect, to be honest, of a car of this sort. This hasn't been chomped out with somebody using a cutter, a knife, to put a strut brace in the back. Real nice to see OEM carpets straight from the factory. You see this many times on a lot of the live videos and videos I've done on Facebook, which are there, so we don't need to go too in detail. You obviously know what we do. Poke the camera in there, we have a look on the back of the light, we look right down here into the pockets, both sides, and check the condition, and this one is flawless, as you'd expect. It doesn't matter if it's a 4.5, 5, 3, R, whatever, we do the same checks, alright? We still got to check. We don't trust the auction sheets, and we don't trust the guys at the auction who are doing the sheets. So we do our full inspection either way. We check all the original OEM seals on all the panels, all the joins, and all the seam sealer. We make sure it's original. It might be a bit dark, but we can see it's not been over painted, and this is all factory on the rear back panel. We've done that. Back seats, we know it's good. Yeah, let's get into the important stuff anyway. You want to see what the underside looks like. So I'm going to go where I love to go, under the cars. Underside, fantastic condition. We check all the points under here. We even check inside the rear chassis legs, as they like to rust from the inside out on these unions, and all the fixings for the ACD, the Super AYC and everything like that. Great condition on this one, and of course the Bilstein suspension, which are known to just be rotten from factory, so pretty impressed to see them still yellow. Onto the front. Fuck. It got stuck. Okay, ready? Bloody hell, our first sign of rust. Very commonplace on these. You got holes in the bonnet, what do you expect? Heat shield, known for rusting, not a big problem. We don't really care about that. We care about the fundamental chassis on the car and mechanical condition. So, 41,000 kilometers, and now we're going to step it up a notch, 51,000 kilometers. Evo 5, state legal, which means expensive. This one is a grade 4. Had to check, was forgetting. This one also a 4. It says on the sheet a 4. Let's see how accurate this one is. Evo 5, 51,000 kilometers, genuine, grade 4, no accident car, but again, we do the exact same checks either ways, so it'll be the same as what's just been done on the Evo 9 there. Panel gaps is a very big one, especially on older cars. A lot of guys like to take parts off, swap parts, so it is a bit of a concerning point, regardless if it's had a crash or not. So panel gaps, and also paint thickness, which we check with a paint thickness gauge. I'll take the key out of this one, stop it beeping, give us half a chance. Again, check the seat out on this one. This is a B interior, I believe. Yeah, B interior, alright? And this is a perfect example of what to expect with a B interior. Headline in fantastic condition. Door cards in good condition. For a CP chassis, they're always falling off, so even if they did or whatever, it is what it is on these sort of cars. But nice to see it. Great condition. Can someone shut up? I got too many people messaging. Steering wheel, interior, flawless. Again, dashboards. I'm a big lover of nice dashboards, and this one ticked all the boxes for me. So yeah. Okay, so the big thing about brakes on Evos is they go pink. It generally happens about 80,000 kilometers, but I would say now it's just an age thing. They just get pink. This one, as you see, perfect red, like their original. However, I will point out, although they look great and they are a great job, they are not OEM. These have been repainted and you know, and been redone, but to a good standard. I want to know your opinion, guys. I don't know which has the best spoiler, Evo 5 or Evo 6. What do you reckon? Let us know. So we know that a lot of people can crash these, although this is grade 4, so we do always check the lines, make sure everything matches up, and you can see right up the top here how they just match up with the top of the lens there. Perfect condition. Now, a standard point to note, on the back panel here, which is bonded to the quarter panel, is this seam here. They actually do have a little step and a ledge on the top of them. It is OEM, so don't be confused if you do see this sort of ledge there. Both sides same, it's good. And this body line here, make sure this is straight, lads, all right? A lot of people are buying these cars where it's been repaired, and this is not always very straight, and it doesn't match up to the light, whereas this one does. Roof rails, known to have the black peel off, goes all chrome, and yeah, it looks pretty crappy. Great condition, what can I say? No surprises there, 4G63, the best 4-cylinder made. You can argue with me about that. Some people like K20s, turbos, things like that, but for me it's a 4G for sure. Again, normal points. If you're fairly new to the CP chassis, I can point out some areas free of charge. Alright, just a good old gesture. I'll point out a couple of secrets and a couple of places where they do rot out, and a lot of people don't really realise. Right under this bulkhead seam, make sure you run your finger all the way along the bottom of it. All the way, wherever possible. You do have air conditioning pipes over this side, but you can still get your finger under the most part, and just rub your finger along it. It'll really save you in the future. Battery tray, batteries can leak, same as any car, so make sure you just check the battery tray. This one is in the original position. The airbox is placed behind it. Actually, it hasn't had the modification where they do a relocation, which they just flip those two around and put the battery here. Fully OEM, all the points here. You see the spot welds here. OEM front panel, never been replaced. And these edges all here are the ones to be rusting, so be very careful. You get the bracket for the airbox here, same problem. And of course, the obvious place is the core support underneath. So we'll get under and I'll show you. The owner of this car has already put on a bit of seam sealer. It looks a little bit ugly, but hey, it's better than rust. So I hope you can see all across here, this black area is where they start to rust out, and all that black is actually just a wax oil, which is dirty just on the edges. Which, as we're talking about seam sealer, that brings us on to the next car, which is the same mileage as this one at 52,000, which is an Evo 6. Can you guess what grade it is? So this one is an R-graded car. It had its upper slam panel replaced, it had the bonnet replaced, and the two fenders replaced. But let's take a look anyway and go over it from our perspective. So like we was talking about the Evo 5 having a lot of wax oil, seam sealer on the edges where they're prone to rust, the same has happened on this car. It seems to be a very common thing for them to be rusting, and the guys who have owned this one and that 4 graded 5 have done the exact same things and taken precautions. It looks a little bit ugly, but from a performance and you know, a perspective of you know, care for these cars for the future, for the weather elements and things, I think it is a great thing to have been done. Again, they've painted every single seam where it normally rusts, which is nice to see, all these edges, because these just rot out for a past time. So same as the 5, the 6 rusts around here on the air filter bracket. You see there's no air filter. On this one, it's had a lot of engine modifications. I believe it's, you know, not detrimental. I believe it's a lot of good points on this car. They've done the swap. They've put the straight suction pipe, direct feed, and they've put a battery here compared to OEM, which sits it at the front. It's got an aftermarket exhaust manifold. It's had the EGR delete, the SAS. It's had that removed. You don't need the secondary air system if you wanted to run anti-lag. We get a lot of newer upgraded computers which can run that just from the ignition timing. HKS GT 3037 turbo. Pretty big actually for something which would be in a street car. You would think it'd have a lot of lag. This one doesn't. It has a very small hot side or exhaust housing, so there's not really any lag there, no more than standard on a 25-year-old turbocharger. So very impressed. This one has a nice added mod to it, which I really like, and it's not just, you know, a small addition. I think it's actually very important fundamentally to the running of these cars, and that is this. It's a rain guard. You only do it on the driver's side. Passenger side doesn't need it, and the reason for this, not so much in this instance, but definitely with a more standard car, the way that they have the wastegate diaphragm, they're upside down, and what happens is water drops through the bonnet, it runs onto the actuator of the wastegate, and it runs down inside and it starts to rust the actuator from the inside, and yeah, kaput. So definitely a good upgrade. So the intercooler condition on all of these cars is fantastic. There's no stones, birds or dead bodies that have hit the intercooler, so that's a nice addition. It's got some type of camshafts. It doesn't say what they are, unfortunately, but we know that it helps bring the turbo on boost pretty quick. I would say they're probably 272s. The idle's pretty lumpy. It sounds quite gnarly. I like it, and yeah, I wish I bought this car. And this is the spoiler on a 6. Let me turn it off a sec. There you go. How's that? Better? So this is a 6 spoiler versus a 5. These have the brake light on the second blade of the spoiler. On the 5, this is mounted to the spoiler. Shit, no it's not. It's mounted to the boot. Alright, so on a 5, this part is mounted to the boot, and on a 6, there's 2 blades. The top one is aluminium and is adjustable, same as the 5. And here they don't have any extra lights or light lenses on the trunk lid, and that's what denotes the difference of appearance. However, you can get the Tommy Mackinnon versions. It comes as an option to have those lights from the 5 on the Tommy Mac trunk lid, so be careful there, because you might have a Tommy Mac trunk lid. Something to notice on these as well is the fender flares on the 5s and 6s. Very prone to rusting on the bracket on the inside. It can get really rotten here, and it starts to rust in the door and the rain holes at the bottom of the door. If these get damaged or age, you know, is a big factor. This rubber seal perishes and it shrinks and starts to crack. So it actually loses its edge here and it can shrink like 1 centimeter and start to crack. And also the color on it, you see the color, it's like a silver. That's the original color on these. If the car's been painted, you might find that it's too difficult for them to take them off, or the painter is lazy and they'll body color code it. So that's something to notice. This one, they're original as well. These are original. The car has been polished a couple of times though, because these are sort of a silver appearance. We do have some silver on the front leading edge here, which you can see as OEM. This one is how they should be. But again, it's age of the car. It's age of the car, so hey, what do you expect? I mean, they're not brand new. Another point to notice, we've already established where they rust on the back. It's where they rust on the side, specifically across the rear floor pan, under the passenger rear seat. The passenger rear seat compartment. Let me get a light here. So here it's got all the fuel lines, brake lines, and where it normally rusts across that seam, and this bottom seam here. And yeah, it's fantastic shape, fantastic condition. Stock OZ wheels, 17 inch, and these come on 225 size tyres, OEM spec calipers. These ones have not been repainted. They're starting to pink up in some places, but hey, they're pretty good for the age of this car. First they've done that, right? They got studless tyres in May with 450 horsepower. Have you ever seen a seat like that in an Evo 6? Yeah, the best seat I've seen. It looks like it's done less mileage than it has. It looks like a seat that's done 7,000 kilometers. Yeah, these are really prone to being destroyed by now, and yeah, very impressed again. Door card, same thing, good condition. They always peel off, like I said. This one's got a tiny little bit here. You see me pushing that back into its place, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Look at that, the condition of this wheel. Look at the condition of this steering wheel. Factory OEM with zero wear on it whatsoever. Horn buttons, everything. It's got a lot of modifications on it, like I said, but fundamentally the chassis and things have not been modified. It's nice to see, but it does have a limited slip differential in it in the front, which wasn't listed on the sheet. A few little bonus things really, and the customer knows, and he's super happy about it. So that was just a quick overview on a couple or 3 of the Evos that I've got at this yard at the moment. I hope it was of some interest to you regarding conditions of 4.54 or even R grades. So there's no need to be hung up so much on the auction sheet. That's what we're here for, and that's what you pay us to do. And that's why I dress like this. Alright, so send us a message. If you've got any questions, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel also, so I can be making more videos like this for you guys in the future. Peace.